Hello friends, today I want to help you understand why hedge funds are buying single-family homes. So why are these hedge funds buying single-family homes? By the end of this video, you'll have a thorough understanding of why these hedge funds are turning towards single-family homes as an investment strategy, and also how this trend can affect both housing prices and the rental market. So what drives these hedge funds to invest billions of dollars in single-family homes? And how does this activity influence the housing market, potentially impacting affordability and availability? Well, stay with me as I answer these questions and give you a better understanding by first explaining what type of impact this has on the housing market. Secondly, I want to cover what implications this has for the homeowner and the renter. And finally, I want to give you some guidance on how you can benefit from this as a real estate investor. If you're ready, let's dive in and go. So what type of impact does it have if hedge fund companies are purchasing up single-family homes? Well, obviously the scariest answer to this is that they have the purchasing power to go and gobble up lots of single-family homes, driving up prices, setting the rental market at prices that are almost unattainable for most Americans, and pricing out most people from being able to purchase or even rent a home. That's a scary thought. Many times, these organizations can come in and purchase with cash, which is a way more desirable offer if you're a homeowner looking to sell your home. If somebody can come in and pay you the full amount with cash, that most likely is going to be the route a homeowner that's selling their home is going to go, which most Americans can't do that. They need to get a loan. So competing against somebody who can pay cash is extremely challenging. And ultimately, that is going to drive the United States into a dystopian renters market where a majority of the homes are owned by large corporations and becoming a renters nation. And allegedly at the center of all this are the three largest hedge fund companies in the world: Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock. And some outspoken politicians have even said that these three companies could own 60% of the housing market by 2030. But that begs the question, is this really happening? Is there some fiction mixed in with some of these facts? Well, there could be, and I really want to dive in and help us understand if and why these hedge fund companies are purchasing single-family homes. Now, I have done a lot of research and I've looked at a lot of different things, and I'll be honest, there's a lot of conflicting information regarding this topic. And it really is hard to sift what is 100% accurate between fact and fiction, but there is some really important data points that I think are really important to address. So let's first understand who these hedge fund companies are. When I say BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, they're the three largest. They manage trillions of dollars of assets. They invest in publicly traded companies like Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, and they also invest in private equity companies that invest in private companies that haven't gone public yet. And another interesting data point is this: if single-family homes, renting those out or utilizing them as an investment strategy is good for the individual investor, buying 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 rental homes, why wouldn't a large hedge fund company want to diversify their asset class and do the same thing, but on a much larger scale, purchasing tens of thousands of homes? Now, BlackRock has come out publicly because there were rumors that they specifically were buying single-family homes, but they've come out publicly and said, we have not invested in single-family homes and don't plan to, but we're investing in construction companies that are building single-family homes. We're investing in mortgage companies that are giving loans to single-family homes. But one interesting thing I found out as I did a little deeper dive into BlackRock is that they are investing in private equity companies that are investing in companies that are purchasing single-family homes. So they might not be doing it directly, but they might be 2 or 3 times removed from it. They still have an investment in it. And with that rumor, there's a company called Blackstone, not BlackRock. And Blackstone is a private equity company that has been investing in organizations that are purchasing single-family homes, but they're not even the largest player out there. These 5 companies own 50,000 or more homes. Progress Homes, Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent, First Key Homes, and Amherst Holding. As I mentioned, all of them own 50,000 or more single-family homes, with Progress Homes owning 83,000 single-family homes. That is a ton. So now that we've disseminated which groups actually own a lot of these single-family homes, let's find out what percentage of the single-family home market that these biggest players own. So currently right now, there's roughly 100 million single-family homes in the United States. And on the data I was able to pull, I show that 350,000 to 750,000 homes are owned by institutional investors. But if you break that down, of all the single family homes, the 100 million that there are in the United States, that is only 0.35 to 0.75% of single family homes are actually owned by institutional investors. That's less than 1% of all the single family homes. Now, there has been some data come out by a real estate analytics company called CoreLogic, and they have said and stated that 24% of single family homes have been purchased by investors. And that might make you think that that's the institutional investors, but that includes even the mom and pops, the smaller investors as well. And some of those smaller entities like myself or like you or like other mom and pops might own 3 to 9 single family homes. Now, with all that data, it doesn't mean that there aren't pockets in the United States where these institutional investors aren't bigger players than other organizations out there and might be gobbling up single family homes in certain cities and areas. And if we look at this, we see that a lot of these institutional investors have been purchasing single family homes in what we call the Sun Belt. That's the southern part of the United States, but in states like Nevada, Georgia, Florida, Arizona, there have been cities that these institutional investors have gone in and purchased quite a few single family homes. And the largest one of those is Arizona, where we see 9.7% of all single family homes have been bought by these organizations, by these institutional investors. And I do think it's important to note that these cities, especially Arizona, did see an increase in rent. But are those the only factors that really drove up the price of rents? Because if we look at another state that had zero institutional investment into single family homes, South Dakota, they saw the same increase in rental prices with zero institutional investors buying single family homes. And they actually saw rental prices increase by 24%. So I don't tell you this to defend institutional investors. My goal is to provide the real data that you can dive into and disseminate it for yourself, what to do and which areas might be opportunities to invest into single family homes to take advantage of this growing market. And one final statistic that I found that was really interesting is this, and that might not have been accurate, but I did read something that said that these institutional investors would own up to 40% of the single family rental market by 2030. But let's dive into that specifically. So single family rentals make up about 14 million of the single family homes, and 40% of that would be about 5.6 million. And so is it possible for these large organizations to own 40% of the single family rental market? Absolutely, because only 14 million of the 100 million homes are single family rentals. And so by them owning 5.6 million of these single family rental homes, they are in essence owning 40% of the single family rental home market. But still, that's only about 5% of the total single family homes in the United States. So in my analysis, to say that these institutional investors are buying up all the single family homes isn't completely accurate. And to say that they are the sole reason for the housing crisis that we're experiencing also isn't completely accurate. Now, I'm not defending them, and they could definitely be a factor in why housing prices are increasing and rental prices are going up, but it definitely isn't the sole cause. So where does that leave you as an individual investor? I think it provides you as an investor an opportunity to go out there and get single family homes, to take advantage of this. This last weekend, I was at a conference and I saw a lot of people who traditionally were investing in some markets that were agile and moving into different markets where homes were a little bit cheaper. That's exactly what I'm doing by moving to the Midwest or other pockets where I can find single family homes below $100,000 and try and get renters in those homes. That is a strategy that a lot of people are doing, and it can work really well and set you up when things do go up or rental prices are increased. You're in a great position. Now, these are the things I'm doing with the news about these institutional investors or hedge fund companies coming in and buying single family homes, but I want to know what you're doing. What rumors have you heard? Please comment below. Let's engage in a discussion. And as always, just for stopping by, I've got a free gift for you. It's aaronsfreetraining.com. It's my short-term rental calculator. You put in the purchase price, the income, the expenses, and it spits out to you whether it's a good deal or not. And it's 100% free, no strings attached, aaronsfreetraining.com. And hey, thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.